Okay, this is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in San Pedro, La Laguna, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. In Spanish, it's Lago Atalan. Gracias.
De nada.
Caliente. I'm getting I like to test the cinnamon rolls all over the planet.
Aprovecha.
Hey, Padrecito, maybe I can show it to you. It's more like a croissant. Looks like a croissant with sugar stuff on top of it. Who knows? Oh yeah, she brought me a tenedor. Okay, I'm in Lake Atalan in a place called the Idea Connection. They probably say it Idea Conexión in Spanish. It's kind of an interesting little kind of, I guess you would call it sababa, like a Israeli yuppie place, and with a better view of the lake. But this is a more quaint, kind of older hippie type. Some people that believe that they have different beliefs than the rest of the world, and that some reason those beliefs are special. Everybody in the world thinks they're special. That's just universal. It's going to be a little hard to eat this while I'm talking, but I'll try to be polite. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is something that's pretty important to me, because I'm realizing that there's a big chasm between the different people on the planet. And you can go to another country and you can communicate with people in other countries really easy. Like I can communicate really simple with the Guatemalans, because we are normally talking about functional things like, I want some peanuts, I want this. I speak in Spanish, but I can talk to them in their same language, and we can discuss things. But it's really not like complicated issues. So. And I say this about Togo. A lot of people know I go to Togo, West Africa, and I really love the women there, because they're one of the most beautiful body shapes on the planet, and they're extremely smart, except they have no knowledge of the world. So it's always about a third grade conversation. Now, what's interesting is when I'm in a place where I'm assuming that all my conversations that are at third grade level, they're really easy, because I adapt and I talk to them at their level. What's harder to do is when I'm in a place where I have different levels of knowledge, like here. I got these Israelis that are just incredibly smart, and we got the Europeans that are incredibly smart, the Americans, and a lot of the people that are traveling are incredibly knowledgeable. They're kind of like, but you got to kind of look at them like they're all university students. A lot of knowledge with no experience. And this is kind of the interesting dilemma. How do I talk to a person that has a lot of knowledge on factual stuff but has very little experience? And I'm going to take a drink here. Hold on. I got gratis agua con hielo. But I was sitting there and I keep walking down the street. And because I'm in Guatemala, I say hola, or I say buenos dias, or I say buenas tardes, or buenas noches, because of the time of day. In the morning, you can always say hola, because that just means hello. And then you can say early in the morning, you say buenos dias, which is like good morning. And then at kind of after 12 noon, you would say, it changes by country, but you would say buenas tardes. And then after sunset, sort of, it's always negotiable, you say buenas noches. So all afternoon you say buenas tardes. And I keep saying buenas tardes, buenas noches, and I just realized I was doing some research on what they call the curse of knowledge. And the curse of knowledge is the idea that you know something so well that you don't realize that everybody else around you doesn't know it. And this is the interesting thing in life, is we may become so knowledgeable on a subject that we have trouble talking to other people. And in a lot of ways, this is maybe my situation here, because I was talking to this American from Texas that was she was kind of Indian born, so maybe the first generation Indian. I don't think she'd been to India one time. She really didn't know anything about India, but she'd been there one time, and her family was Indian, so she had an awareness of India. And what was happening was, I sit there, and she said she was leaving tomorrow, and instead of just accepting that she's leaving tomorrow, I tried to be helpful. And right there's where I goofed up. Okay, I really goofed up because I was trying to be helpful without being asked to be helpful. And I just wrote about this morning on my my written blog on Substack. It's Andy Lee Graham. You probably look up Andy Lee Graham Substack and you'll find it. But in the bottom of this video, there's a link to it. But I've been writing like 3 or 4 times a day. And that makes a lot of people frustrated because why are you writing so much? Well, because I like to write, and so it's enjoyable for me. But everybody's got their point of view, and I got my point of view. But what I'm talking about today is the epidemic of people thinking everybody around them is stupid. Okay, and I see this on every level. Every time I talk to anybody, it seems like I'm either one of the people, there's different levels here. Like when they're talking to me, they're usually, because I'm older, the younger people, I mean, they talk to me as if I'm stupid, which is really interesting because obviously we have, you know, the President of the United States is like 80, almost 80 years old or something. We have a lot of magnets of society, which are business owners like that are older, that have their brains working at full speed. But on the other side it's kind of funny because I'm not used to being treated like I'm stupid. But as the older I get, the older I look, I go into this category where they treat me as if I'm stupid. Hola, señorita. Hola. And that's kind of the concierge of this business. She's been here for a long time. And it's one thing nice about a lot of these businesses, there's not a lot of turnover once they get a job. Because about 50% of these people in this city work in informal jobs where they like selling avocados or something like that, and they're not part of the formal society where they might pay taxes and stuff like that. Then you got the other ones, but usually the people when they're younger are working in the formal society. Then as they get older, they kind of become self-employed, but it's self-employment of one person, not a self-employment with a bunch of employees. But it's an interesting world, and but again, I want to talk about the idea that everybody thinks everybody is stupid. And this is, I think, because of the internet. The internet has made everybody kind of talk to themselves, and the more they talk to themselves, the more they believe they're intelligent. And I make a lot of jokes about my placebo, my chat GPT I write about it all the time, but I've named my artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, placebo, because it aims to please. I had a guy that was a doctor write me and say, that's a stupid name. And I go, but it's my name I gave him and I don't really care. But, you know, he was insistent. And I was like, well, that's kind of ridiculous. You're insisting that I can't name my ChatGPT whatever I want to call it. But the horrible problem on the planet right now is that everybody is wanting to help other people to think. And right there is what I consider my problem. I accidentally open my mouth and I believe that I'm being assisting, but really what I'm doing is making them feel stupid. And this girl from India the other day, she was going to leave on tours, and I said, hey, you know, Benji Tours is pretty cheap. But I guess she hadn't bought her ticket yet, but she said she was going to leave to go buy her ticket. And I said, well, Benji Tours is pretty cheap. Well, pretty economical, pretty good, stable company. And she goes, well, I'm buying it from the, I don't know what it is, the Mullet or something like that, hostel. I said, well, that's an add-on fee. They're going to, they're resellers. They're not actually the company that is running the shuttle. They're not the operators. You're not buying a ticket directly from the operator. You're buying it from them, and they're buying it from probably Benji Tours. Okay, I keep seeing Benji Tours parked outside their hostel, but hostels are very expensive places here in Central and South America, Mexico, because you can get a private room a lot cheaper. But they're a lot of fun, so there's a lot of reasons to live in it, and they call that a party hostel. Most of the hostels anymore in the world are just party hostels where people meet, get drunk, maybe shag each other in the dorm when nobody's looking or in the bathroom. But that's what the young people are doing. But I was talking to her, and when I said that it was a reseller, she instantly copped an attitude. Like, I was going, like, what did I do? I just told her that they're a reseller, but I instantly expressed that I understood the situation better than her. Right there, whose fault is that? That's my fault. It's not her fault. The reason why if I'm the bright one in the bunch, I should adjust my thing. Now, I've learned this from Alcoholics Anonymous. It's never, ever blame the other side. Always blame yourself for any kind of conflict you're having, because if you're blaming the other side, you can't change them. You have to accept them exactly the way they are. They're not going to change. You accept people, but when you're projecting that everybody's stupid, that's kind of a problem, because if everybody's stupid, there is no way for them to talk to you, except if they say anything intelligent, then they make you look stupid. So it's like, I'm okay, you're okay. The minute they say something smarter than you, you say, hey, something's wrong with you. And this kind of competition is rampant on the planet. Now, I was talking to my friend on the phone, and he says, Andy, but you're a very smart person. I said, well, that's okay, but I should be smart enough, if I'm smart, to adapt my language. I had a big, long conversation with a man that got really ridiculously angry with the really stupid people. And I go, you understand that the ones you define them as really incredibly stupid, then you shouldn't be having serious conversations with them, because you're just being two fools talking to each other. Only a stupid person gets mad at a stupid person. I really believe that. I really believe that only a stupid person would get mad at a stupid person. You have to accept that, a certain population is not very bright, just normal. But there's also knowledgeable versus bright. Like, one of the things I really like about Togo, West Africa, is the people are extremely intelligent, even smarter maybe than Guatemala, and Colombia is smarter than Guatemala, but the people in Guatemala are a lot friendlier. Okay, but the people in Togo and Colombia are probably just inherently smarter. Okay, they recognize patterns and they recognize things, and they're quick. Okay, but when it comes to knowledge, none of these three countries have much knowledge. Colombia has the most. But I have no problem traveling in these countries, because when I'm talking with somebody, I know that I need to always keep the conversation simple, and I do, and we don't have any problems. But what my problem is when I accidentally give a person equal knowledge. And this is where people are, in my opinion, really faltering. They want to act like everybody's either stupid or, more stupid than they are. Very few people are ever going to think anybody's smarter than them. That's the universal. Everybody thinks they're the smartest person in the room. But when you think that somebody's more stupid than you, what happens is they say something smarter than you, they suddenly just turn the game on you. And you might have been really comfortable being the smartest person, and now you find out that this person is smarter, and that makes you angry because your ego is now challenged. Okay, so what's the solution to what I'm talking about? Everybody's treating everybody like they're stupid. The thing is that you got to start every conversation out as, I'm listening 90% of the time, and I'm talking 10% of the time. And I'm spending my whole time trying to understand the knowledge level of the other person so I can keep adjusting it. If we have a common thing that we talk about, maybe I'm going to give what I call platitude talking. Platitude talking is just saying nice things that don't really mean anything. I'm not going to be challenging anybody. A lot of people laugh at me because I have this huge American flag on my background, and I said, well, that's a Euro trash repellent, because Europeans will walk up to you and say, they start instantly insulting the United States. I don't want that, so I just repel them by having American flag on my back. And that is not because I really want to have American flag on my back, or I want to be patriotic or nationalistic. I just don't want people coming up and talking to me that are going to start insulting my country. It's very bad manners. And I was laughing too about when I talk to ChatGPT, and you might test this with yourself. When you talk to Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of these AI things, do you talk with them with manners? Do you say, please, thank you, and things like that? I say it because I believe that I should always have manners in every situation, always. I should never stop saying hello. I should never stop saying please. I never should stop saying thank you, even if I'm talking to a machine. Okay. Why? Because I want to maintain that habit. A habit is something you always do, and not judging. But people right now are treating everybody as if they're stupid, and they look at each other. Like, I know that if Brad Pitt walks in the room, or I don't know, some movie star or singer, would walk in the room, everybody would assume that they should be very patronizing and allow that person to control the situation and dominate them, because somehow they think that person's more important than them, so they adjust. But when two average people meet, they don't know that situation, so we meet as equals, maybe, but then that's the negotiation that happens. So what I'm trying to say here is that we have to start out playing very stupid, something like texting. I always warn people about texting. I said, or farmers. I said, they're going to just hee-haw around, not talk much, and let you talk and talk and talk until you've basically proven that you don't know what you're doing, okay? And then once they fully got you qualified as to your intelligence level, then they're going to start talking. And this is the ideal way to enter into any conversation. Always having no opinion on anything until you let the other person have all the opinions. Now, I have learned that certain types of compliments that are real and authentic can open up a door. Like this, I was laughing because the girl that I met that was from India, she had on these white pants and this black shirt. She was just really thin, and I just walked by her and I said, "You look saintly." I mean, she looked saintly. She looked like heaven, because her face, the clarity of her face was perfect. I mean, she was a beautiful girl. And I thought about recommending that she become a model, but that can be an insult to somebody that's going to be like a whatever, right? But there's so many ways you can accidentally fall into the trap of making a person feel inadequate. Now, I made up this 14th step. Never say or do anything that would make you or them, the other person feel inadequate. That's not how I said it. Never say or do anything that would make you or them feel less than a normal person. You should never make a person feel. I was doing some research today. I don't know if you know it, but President Washington, at age 14 to 16, did a lot of research, and he pulled in this Jesuit. He had the 110 rules or something like that of civil behavior. And civil behavior is no longer being taught by the parents, and it's not being taught by the school, and it's not being taught by the church. I really think the church is the place where this ought to begin, but school should be too. But they don't understand, because in a way, almost everybody, the hippie generation from 1960 is now 80 and dying, and almost everybody is the progeny of a hippie. And these hippies were saying everything the establishment was doing is wrong, but they threw out the baby with the bathwater. They threw out the essential glue that holds society together, which is manners. And then, of course, anybody that talks about religion gets people angry. You should be able to talk about religion without getting angry. Why would you get angry at a religion? There's like 7,000 of them, okay? Why would you get angry at somebody that speaks a different language? A lot of times I'm laughing because here the foreigners will start talking in English, and they'll just keep repeating the same words to like the stewardess, the waitress. And, of course, if you don't understand these words, they're just gibberish, right? And they never empathize with the fact that, but eventually they just sort of guess their way through it. And the person speaking English is very polite to this person because they think that they're not very intelligent. Hola.
Hola.
¿Qué onda?
Todo bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Bien.
¿Cómo va lo que estás haciendo?
Oh, yo hablando con mi celular, de mi cámara.
Ah, está bien.
¿Está bien?
Voy a barrer aquí.
¿Y cómo estás?
Gracias.
¿Tú es limpiando el restaurante? ¿Cuándo es mucha gente aquí?
por la mañana.
En la mañana.
Sí, trabajamos mucho más por la mañana que por la tarde. En la noche también tipo a las 6:30, 7 empiezan a entrar un poco de gente, pero normalmente trabajamos más por la mañana. Más
Okay,
los
tú
desayunos.
más o menos 9 en la mañana o
No,
10.
a las 7:30 o a las 8 de la mañana.
Oh,
Nosotros aquí abrimos a las 7:30 de la mañana.
es llena a las 7. Oh, bien,
Sí.
yo despierto muy temprano.
Ah, está bien.
Okay, yo venir.
Sábado, viernes, sábado, domingo, si hay mucha gente. Lunes, martes, más o menos. Miércoles, jueves, un poquito.
Okay, yo venir mañana o próxima mañana a la...
Claro que sí, no hay
Probablemente 8. Yo quiero ir poco tarde.
problema. Muy bien.
Pero, okay, we just had a conversation where I asked her when this place is busy, because I like a busy restaurant, because I'm a people watcher.
¿Qué pasó?
Okay, so she's saying at 7:30 till 9 o'clock it's the busy hour. Then I guess later at night, maybe from 7 to 9, it gets busy too. I don't know. But I just had a long conversation, and we were just talking factual information, right? And I was allowing her to teach me. Understand, when you allow somebody to teach you, they become the smarter person. So I'm going to go into this phase, and I just wrote about it. I'm going to stop talking so much, and I'm going to listen more and more. And I learned this: you can never really hurt somebody by listening. You cannot hurt anybody by listening. You can only hurt somebody by talking. And how do we hurt somebody by talking? Is we make them feel less than us. So somehow they feel that we're looking down on them. And that's what's interesting as I get older, is because the people are treating me as if I'm not very bright because I'm older than them. That's the universal, right? That's what every kid thinks. Every 16-year-old kid, every 20-year-old kid thinks that everybody older than them is stupid. But interestingly, what's interesting to me is when I'm talking to a 16-year-old person here in Guatemala, they feel like the same age as a 24-year-old from the United States, because they're already doing responsible things like cleaning and selling, fruits and vegetables and things like that. And they're already into the experience of life instead of the I'm absorbing information level of life. But most of the people that are traveling the world are rich kids that are basically still in the educational phase of life. They're not in the actual business life. And strangely, I have friends that just hate backpackers that are young and energetic and basically do seem to act as if they know everything about the world, which you can't know everything about the world by studying a book. You have to experience it. Most of the stuff should be 50, I believe as a philosopher or something, we should be 50% experience and about 50% education. 25% reading, whatever, and 25% media, like YouTube and things like that. The worst possible way to learn about another country is on YouTube. All they do is, that's just like as bad as the news, because all they do is they make up stories so that they can glamorize themselves with the thing. But okay, so I'm going to end this by concluding that if you believe that everybody's stupid, you got to rise above. And what you got to say to yourself is, the person that's stupid is me, because I am not talking at the level of the person that I'm talking to. Yes, a lot of stupid people are also evil, but evil people are more interesting than nice people. And if you really look at it, everybody has something interesting in them. They may have something corrupt in them. They may have something evil in them. And then probably the most interesting people on the planet are the people walking around like bums, okay? Because they are outcasts. They are totally dressed up in a way that is uniquely special to them. They are very unique people, the crazy people. But what I'm trying to say here is, we have a world where the default setting is everybody's dumb. I don't agree with that. I think everybody should look at it as everybody is interesting, and we should find interesting things about everybody to talk with. If we can't find something interesting to talk to them about, it's not their problem, it's ours. I wrote a book about, I don't know, it's a real simple handbook, 25 ways to open a conversation, because a lot of people are isolated because they don't have any idea how to open a conversation. One of the reasons why alcohol and marijuana and different drugs is always on the rise in a lot of ways is because it liberates the person's self-conscious perception, and they are able to talk to people without feeling nervous or shame or anything like that. They just start talking just like a little kid. The best way to look at the world is to walk around like a little kid, just saying hi everybody, bubbling around, looking at everything, looking your head right, looking left. That's what little kids do. If you watch and study little kids, that is the best way to enter the world. And that's how I walk around. I have my neck on a swivel. I'm looking at everything. And then you see these target fixated people on the smartphone. That is the opposite of taking in experience. Is just you're looking at the phone, trying to avoid wrecking, doing a smartphone wreck, running into somebody. Okay, so to conclude this, I want you to realize is always just listen, and in a way, I don't want you to be stupid, and I don't want you to lie. I just want you to be able to listen and try to explore and qualify who you're talking to. And if you talk to a person maybe 6 or 7 times, that's when you start negotiating with them on what levels of different things we are smart at. And everybody is smarter than me on something, okay? There's always something uniquely special about everybody where they have an aptitude or an emotional strength that they're better than me. I hope my YouTube will pick up this music and sometimes and block the whole video just because of the music. It's really a problem. Okay, so what you do, 90% of the time, you listen, and when you're listening, all you're doing is sort of agreeing that it's okay for them to be them. You're agreeing that it's okay for them to be them. They have a right to be them, even if they say something stupid. They have the inalienable, self-evident right to be stupid, okay? But everybody has a self-evident right. I have the right to believe that I'm intelligent. You have the right to believe you're intelligent. I have the right to believe you're stupid. You have a right to believe I'm stupid. Those are the rights of anybody's brain to do whatever they do. But the way to negotiate the world is, instead of saying everybody's stupid, which I hear all the time, or I love my dog more than I love people, which is just giving up on people, is to say, I'm going to listen until I can find a common ground where I can talk to this person on something where we agree. But if you're disagreeing with everybody around you, you're really trying to say to them that they're stupid. And that's the interesting part of the world. People, you can say about, it's just a landmine of problems. But I can do this because I'm intelligent enough. I can modify my language by listening. I will listen until I learn how to talk. Listen until you learn how to talk. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've been traveling for 27 plus years, and I've been in 115 countries. And I can, adapt to any culture, and I should be able to adapt to my own, right? I should be smart enough to adapt to the United States culture and fall in love with it, fall in love with some interesting part about the culture. One of the greatest things about the United States is very obsessive people. They become obsessed on certain things. Okay, live long enough to experience life and learn. Bye-bye, Andy Lee Graham.